Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to a brand new episode of
We everywhere, baby!
I am your host, Nadia. With me is my co-host, Oh Marvelous.
What's up? What is up? What's up?
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh man. Yeah. I feel like last week we had a really fun episode. Reminiscing about our Vegas adventure. And then we just been having regular old life. I've just been on my grind. A hard grind. Grinding so hard.
Tell me more.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And well, I think it's interesting that we've been so busy working.
Yeah.
That this past week was just like a blur. And I was like, what? And we did do something this weekend that was like really fun, but everything moved so fast for me this week as well. But before we get into the show proper, I did want to put you on a quick little story.
Okay.
Because I think that you would appreciate this. So
lay it on me.
Maybe I will. Oh.
We gotta go, guys. We'll be back.
So you know that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame exists, obviously.
Right.
And you know that they do their nominations and then they put you on the list and this and that. Right. I'm fast forwarding through all that because I know that you know that.
Yes.
And you can watch them on HBO Max, actually. They have the previous Rock and Roll Hall of Fames on there. So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominated Dolly Parton for 2022.
I was unaware.
Yep.
When did this happen?
Like about a week ago or something.
Nice.
But here's the cool part.
Okay.
She declined it.
Really?
Yeah, she said no thanks.
Why? That's hilarious. Why?
Well, it's actually for a pretty good reason. Like, you want me to read her statement? You want me to read you?
Yeah, go for it.
Basically,
but you got to read it like Dolly.
Then why don't I let you read it? I'm not going to read the last. You're crazy. How about I read it?
I said to the good Lord, I just don't want to accept that award. Is it like some injustice that's happening or something?
No.
I can't even imagine why she would decline. Okay, go on.
Okay, here's what she said. I really want you to read it now. No, okay. She said, she starts with Dolly here, right? And then she goes, even though I'm extremely flattered and grateful to be nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I don't feel that I have earned that right.
Wow.
I really do not want votes to be split because of me, so I must respectfully bow out.
What does that mean, votes split because of me?
Well, once you're nominated, you get voted. I don't know who actually does the voting. Okay. For the Academy Awards, you get nominated, and then the members of the Academy are the ones that vote for you.
Right.
So I'm assuming there's some kind of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Academy.
But the woman's over Twitter. Song catalog is insane.
Right. But would you consider her a rock and roll star?
Is it? But what does that mean, a rock and roll star? Only rock music is allowed?
Well, so here's the thing.
I don't understand.
So when you hear Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you would assume that it's all rock and roll. But there have been hip hop artists that have won it or at least been nominated.
No one in country?
You know what? I haven't brought up a list. I didn't think that we were going to get into that. So that shows a lack of research on my.
Dang.
Man, I miss researcher Mark.
Let me see.
Remember back in the early days
Mark,
of the podcast when we had a research team and a video
come and sit down. Yeah. Usually, shows get better with time.
Not us, baby.
We're falling at the seams. Okay, let me search this.
Okay, but while you search for that, so basically that's what she was saying. She's like, there's other people nominated, and I don't want to be pulling votes. I like that you moved the microphone. You're learning. Which I think is totally cool. because she did say this. The statement does continue. She says, "I do hope that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame will understand and be willing to consider me again if I'm ever worthy. This has, however, inspired me to put out a hopefully great rock and roll album at some point in the future, which I have always wanted to do. My husband is a total rock and roll freak, and he has always encouraged me to do one. I wish all of the nominees good luck, and thank you for the compliment. Good luck."
So that's what she's saying. She's like, I don't make rock and roll, so why are you putting me in the Hall of Fame of rock
Which
and roll?
I think is fucking great.
See, but that's why she's always a gangster.
Well, it's the thing is she has turned down what could be considered more prestigious things. I guess it depends on how you look at it, but she did decline the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Okay.
From the president.
Oh, wow.
She declined it from Trump twice. She kept saying, "Nah, I'm good."
She's like, "I'm not going to accept anything from you, you orange bastard."
He's like, "A lot of people are saying that I have to give you this medal. A lot of people say you're dope." And she's just like, "Nah, bro, I don't want it."
Yeah.
I think they did ask her if she would turn down one from the Biden administration. Administration. And she said she's not sure, but knowing her, she'd probably be like, "Nah." I mean,
that is so wow.
Right?
Yeah. She's such a badass.
I thought you would appreciate that.
Yep. I appreciate it and still have not found any information. I am on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame website.
Right.
However, it says all of the inductees of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right? Then it says browse by from 1986 to 2022.
Right.
Or you could browse by early influencers, performers, the Ahmed Ertegun Award, Musical Excellence, search by name. Like, this is not convenient for me to just pull it up and look. And are you kidding? A catalog since 1986? Forget about it. Let's just assume they're all rock and roll stars.
I mean, I know for a fact that there's been hip hop stars for sure that have won it. I think Run DMC got inducted not too long ago.
They're like, yeah, we're taking that.
They're like, I think this year for 2022, Eminem is on there. He was like, "Yep, I'll take that."
Yep, I'll take all the awards. Kiss my ass. Well, I'm not surprised. She's a stand-up woman.
And
any other exciting news you have for me? I like this when I don't know.
You like my exciting news?
Yeah, he never tells me, and then he just whips it out. Whoa. Whoa.
No, well, I did have something for like a couple of shows ago that I just haven't gotten rid of it in the notes. But have you ever heard of the Joro spider?
Is this the one that's like on the East Coast?
Yeah.
That they're like, oh, this spider's going to take over the East Coast.
It's kind of like infiltrated the East Coast.
It's now, like a neon color.
Yeah, I don't know if any of our listeners are out in the East Coast and have, come across one of these Joro spiders. But apparently, they're setting up shop out there and they're making these, gigantic webs or whatever. Like,
I think they came from China, no? Something about how it came on a ship.
Yeah, I'm not even sure exactly where it came from.
I think I read something about
but
that.
I think it is China because I think I know that they're in Korea. Taiwan, China. Yeah.
Right.
I think you're right. But have you seen them?
Yes. Unfortunately.
They're the size of your palm.
They just need to stay on the East Coast because...
But they're not...
It's part of the reason why I don't want to go to Australia.
Because of like gigantic things.
Have you seen those spiders in Australia?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Look, I think they look kind of cool.
I mean, it is a pretty color.
Knowing that from what I've read, they can't hurt you.
Okay.
Like as far as I don't know if they can break your skin or if they did that. I don't. I know there's no like venom or anything like that.
They are cool looking.
But they're pretty cool looking once you get past this is one of my 8-legged enemies.
Look at those like points on the legs.
Yeah.
Youth. That is not. Spiders are not my friend. I am not a spider person. Honestly, I'll take snakes over spiders any day. Any day. Rats, take them. Mice, I'll take them. Bats, I'll take them. I'll take all of them, but not the spiders.
That's the last.
And
that's the
maybe not
last
a
one?
water snake. I don't want to be like in the water and then feel a snake.
Oh, I thought you meant like as a pet. You mean just like encountering?
Just encounters. Yeah.
That's insane.
No, I'm not doing it. It's insane.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, I'd rather encounter like what did you say? A snake than
Yeah.
a spider?
Yeah.
No way. You could. No way.
Why?
Because I mean, just the size comparison alone. Are you talking about if you have to battle it or just?
Oh my God. This is turning into a whole other
I'm sorry.
a battle.
You're not thinking
dance battle?
You're not thinking about this
Because I'm going to lose to
like
8 legs.
That motherfucker tap danced all over me.
I can't take on 8 legs.
It was me, 2-legged Nadia, and over here, fucking
I didn't even stand a chance.
the 8-legged Savion Glover. Damn, we'll pull out a tap dance reference from the 90s.
Yeah. Didn't get that one.
You don't remember?
No,
It doesn't
sorry.
matter.
I don't know tap dancers. I'm not well versed in the tap world.
This guy was like very popular in regards to the fact that he's a tap dancer, but there was Gregory Hines
Okay.
as far as like pop culture tap dancer.
Okay.
Okay, that was Gregory Hines, and then this guy, Savion Glover.
Is he related to Donald Glover?
No.
How about Danny Glover?
Any other Glovers?
Those are the
You
only
got-
2 I know. Okay, well,
whatever.
that's great. They can keep their little neon, 8-legged asses on the East Coast. I do not want them over here. No, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. I'm sure a lot of other stuff, Kanye wise, happened this week, but I'm just like tired of hearing about it, so I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, we did finish the Kanye documentary, which was
that
really
we
good.
can talk about.
Yeah, that was really
To be
good.
honest, because that was really well done. I
Yeah,
really enjoyed that documentary,
I did too.
and I liked the sections. Do you know what I mean? How you had like before he blew up,
Right.
as he was like just completely coming into his own, and then I don't know what you would call the third part. If you would,
Yeah.
I don't want to call it a downfall because he's still on top of, in regards to like
Well-
the music game, but it's
The third part was interesting,
interesting.
because he, what's his name? Cootie? Is that how you say his name?
the guy who made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of stopped working with Kanye, right? I can't remember what year it was.
Yeah.
But he kind of stopped working with Kanye. And so there was only so much that he could put. And so he would put, headlines that were happening with Kanye and footage that, was accessible by all of us, right? Shit that he could put in there. But also encounters that he would still have with Kanye, whether he was working with other artists, in the studio filming or following the other artists, and Kanye happened to be in the studio at that time or whatever. So he had that footage. But I know that, like, I had somebody be like, it just ended so abruptly. Like, I feel like, like how, like, they didn't like how it ended.
Well,
And I'm like, well, he ended it as best he could with what he had. Like,
And
what do you want from the guy? Like,
And
he
I would
stopped
say-
working with Kanye, and I feel like he did a great job wrapping it up as best he could.
well, yeah. I mean, but not only that, the story is not over.
Yeah,
Do you know
exactly.
what I mean? This was kind of like the story so far.
Right.
You know what I mean? If that could have been like under the title.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're like, oh, well, what happens? Well, I don't know. It's as current as it could be, pre-divorce.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because he was even in the ranch in Wyoming and all that. Do you know what I'm saying? So I understand that kind of idea of like, well, it just ends, but it's like, well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he had.
Yeah.
That's who would not put together a documentary or docuseries with what they had. That was his whole point. And you're not going to not do it because you didn't keep working with him. Like, this is what you have. You put it out there, you know? And I wonder if he, like, do you think that Kanye watched it before he released it? Or do you think that he had any approval or any part? Because, I mean, he was a part of, he approved it in the beginning, right? He allowed him to be there, allowed him to film everything and document everything.
Right.
And then it got to a point where he stopped. But, like, what do you think his involvement was in that? Do we even know?
You know, I don't know. I don't know. My instinct would be that yes. That
he came to him and presented it.
Had to, like, okay it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know because
I kind of feel like he didn't.
Because he doesn't have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was allowed to take that footage.
Yeah. But that's an interesting.
Yeah, I wonder.
Somebody knows this. Somebody that's listening to us right now knows this, has read this. Like,
you let us know if you know. But yeah, I mean, let us know what you guys thought of it if you guys did watch it. I think that from what I see, I just think that like him losing his mother was I mean, as it would be for most people, it was such a devastating and huge hit for him. Because it kind of seemed like his mother was his soundboard and his moral compass and his, you know, she brought him back down to earth, because even before that, she was even saying, you know, Kanye needs somebody to bring him back down. Like, he's got this ego about him he always has. And there's good parts about that and there's bad parts about that, right? Like, the good part is that he believes so deeply in himself, and how many of us doubt ourselves? How many of us don't even have that? And this man is just like, I am the shit. You guys are all like stupid for not realizing it if you don't realize it, and like, get on my train, because everything I'm saying and doing is the best, you know? And so like, there's parts of that I really, really do respect about him, but it just, he takes it over the edge. You know, and I think that, you know, there's been talks about it. He even mentions it about being bipolar and such. And so, you know, that mental illness there kind of takes it to the next step, takes it a bit further. And so him losing his mom, I think really just pushed him over the edge. And then marrying Kim, she's one of the most famous women in the world, literally. I mean, there's a lot of toxicity that was happening around him, to him. And it just, I don't know. I think that it's hard for somebody who deals with issues of having bipolar disorder or any other type of personality disorder to be in the public eye like that. That's a lot. It's a lot of pressure. And I think it only magnifies those issues even more. So I think that that's why we see what we see with Kanye, with all his outbursts and what he's doing to Kim right now and their divorce. Like, he's just like off the handle, and it's crazy. But what are we going to do?
I mean, I did find out that he was not given.
Oh, he wasn't.
I think he wanted it, and they didn't like.
They probably knew he was going to go like just try to control too much of it, and they were like, "Nah, fuck that! Like, we're putting this shit out."
Yeah.
Sorry.
And apparently he did. He put Netflix on blast and was like, "Hey, they didn't give me creative control of my image and da 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 da." And
well, good, because he would have probably tried to manipulate it.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's like I found a statement by so you had Cootie and then you had Chike, right? Who were the two people that were doing it, and he basically said that you definitely have his participation on camera. Kanye's.
Right.
He goes, but for us as filmmakers, the name of our company is Creative Control. So there are just certain rules in documentary filmmaking for it to be authentic and for it to resonate. People need to see certain things. So sometimes it's just not best for the filmmaking. It's not best for the filmmaking for the subject, who the film is largely about, to have control over the direction the story goes in.
That makes sense.
In other words, you have to remain objective in a documentary. It's not, I mean, some might push a particular like this is bad, this is bad, this is what it's about. But in that one, there was no
Yeah.
Kanye's a great guy, Kanye's a bad guy. It was just
It was just this is what it is.
What
yeah.
I captured while I was with him.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. I think it shows like merit. You know what I mean? For them to obviously not do that. And I know that from what I know of Kanye, it was probably definitely like a heated discussion.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm sure there were parts of it that he didn't want shown or wasn't happy about or whatever.
As
but
anybody would be, but
right.
that's how it goes.
And you made a good point too when we were watching it. You were like, do you notice how there were certain parts kind of more towards the end when he was kind of like building more success and I don't know. I don't want to say going on the deep end, but just kind of like rambling, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
He would kind of get into these weird tangents
mm-hmm.
and you could tell that they would pull the camera away and be like, this is getting a little too much. Let me just not film this part.
Yeah, I think he also, Cootie might mention it in the documentary. He was just like, I didn't want to be filming him like that.
Yeah, this isn't the Kanye I knew.
Yeah, so he was just kind of like, eh. And I doubt that there was any point to it anyway. Like, it wouldn't have made it. It's not like he missed out on something amazing.
Yeah.
The worst thing he did was miss out on maybe something that could be sensationalized.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, he said this. Look, shit blows up or whatever. But I mean, it is important to know that they were friends. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Even like I said, I didn't find any malice in the documentary at all.
No.
It just was very matter of fact. But hopefully you guys watched it and hopefully you guys liked it.
Yeah. I love a good documentary, an expose, or anything that kind of pulls the curtain from behind and you kind of get to see behind the scenes. Like, I love all that, and so that definitely has that. And let us know what you guys thought. If you hated it, tell us why you hated it, or if you loved it, or maybe you changed your mind on Kanye. I don't know. Like, share with us what you guys thought, because Omar and I definitely we enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, and we've been watching a lot of documentaries.
Yeah.
Limited series or whatever. I mean, we definitely watched The Tinder Swindler. I don't know if we talked about that or not.
I think we did.
But we saw another one that, to me, was like Tinder Swindler Light. It's called Bad Vegan.
Oh, yeah. Oh. I fell asleep because I was exhausted, but I picked up parts of it.
I think it was unnecessarily long.
Yeah.
I don't think it needed to be that long, but because it's like what I think it's 4 episodes.
It was, it's very like they give you a lot of details that kind of don't feel that important.
Yeah, but if you come across this documentary, it's about a chef and restaurant owner who was the #1 raw food
vegan
celebrity.
Yeah,
like. She was the one to start it and blow up in New York. And then as she's blowing up, she meets a guy and then she gets swindled. That's basically how it feels like to me.
Yeah.
Like, there's no other easy way to say it. It's not like, oh, spoilers, but like,
yeah, he manipulates
her into giving him money for that's why I don't want to go into that.
It's very similar to the Tinder Swindler in the way that he cons.
Yeah, he's basically conning her.
Yeah.
And it goes into the point where she starts pulling money out of the business.
They're not paying their employees.
Yeah. And then it goes from that into where should they go on the run?
The best, they go on the run.
They go on the run after their
then one of the best headlines that they kept using over and over and over again, and how they tracked her and found her or them was the guy ordered from Domino's, and then the police followed the Domino, like they found that he ordered from Domino's, and then they tracked the Domino's order to the hotel or motel that they were staying at, and that's how they ended up tracking them and finding them and busting them. And so all the headlines are like, raw vegan was found eating Domino's. Like, it was like all the headlines said that, and they just kept using it over and over again, even though she wasn't even the one eating the Domino's, like he was.
I mean, we don't know, but yeah,
you saw her. She was like 100 pounds. She was not eating the Domino's.
It was that is kind of interesting because they're pushing this as like she's the bad vegan or whatever, right?
Which is what
Which
the
is
documentary is called.
Which the documentary's called, and which is the spin that it ended up taking because of the fact that they tracked her down on like you said, like on the Domino's transaction.
Yeah.
But the majority of it is kind of her getting conned.
Yeah.
And she's in the documentary. It's not like you're getting it from a third or fourth party. Like you're getting it from the horse's mouth. And it becomes this thing of like, did she get psychologically manipulated? Do you know what I mean? Is it like this weird abuse? Because
that's how it's
starts
presented.
Making crazy decisions.
Yeah.
It's the same problem that I had with the Tinder swindler. It was just like, why are you giving this much money to somebody?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a shitty person, but I'm like, no way, bro.
I don't know that you're as easily, I think some people happen to just be a little more easily manipulated than others. I think that's kind of where it begins.
Right.
These people who swindle, if you will, they prey on people who they find can be easily swayed. Like, they're not going to do it to just anyone. Not anyone can happen to. I feel like, this is my opinion. I don't think, and again, this is you and I saying this, I don't think you and I would be taking out loans in excess of $100,000 to give to anyone. Like, not even each other. Like,
yeah.
Sorry. But, I don't know. It's hard to judge that, because I was reading all these articles that were saying, like, we shouldn't blame the victims of the Tinder swindler. Like, they were manipulated, blah, blah, blah. And it's true. They were manipulated. And it's, we're not in their position. We don't know what was being said to them or what was being promised, or, apparently they were madly in love with this little pipsqueak. But I mean, I can't. I just look at the guy.
Are you talking about the swindler?
Yeah, the swindler. And even this other guy in the bad vegan, he was like, this girl, she lives this raw vegan life, all about being healthy. She eats clean. And this guy is like this huge 275-pound slob who eats
not
Domino's.
From the beginning, though.
Not from the beginning.
But,
he turns into that.
But it should be said that he
lied about his appearance.
He did catfish her a bit.
Yeah.
And she says in the documentary, the first time I saw him, I was like, oh man, that's not the guy. Like, that's, he lied
he's a little
me.
Heavier. She's like, than his pictures. But whatever,
but
that's fine. But it was just like how he presented, like, even when they busted them, they were like staying in two different rooms, and her room was all clean and tidy. And then his room was just a disaster with pizza boxes everywhere, and just the slob, Which, by the way, this documentary, Bad Vegan, was totally not what I expected.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna pull the wool over our eyes, or she pulled the wool over everyone's eyes, and she wasn't really a vegan, and she was like
she was mainlining hot dogs.
Yeah, like something like that. It was something like that. It was not at all what I pictured. And to be honest, it wasn't my favorite.
No.
I'm not going to sit here and be like, you guys should watch it.
No.
I don't think it was that great. I've seen way better.
Yeah, it's not something that I would recommend anyone to watch.
Yeah, I think that if you're going to watch some people getting swindled, watch the Tinder swindler. That was a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
those are the two swindlers. However, you want to hear another swindler situation? I watched the other day. You were at work.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up binge watching. Finally getting to worst. I think it's called Worst Roommate Ever. Is that the name of the series?
Yeah.
Or just Worst Roommate? I think it's Worst
Roommate Ever or something like that.
Wow.
Also on Netflix, right?
Those people were swindling too, and that shit's crazy. Like, you see, like, there was one situation. This guy, he would do this repeatedly, multiple times to multiple people, women, and he would move in respond to a Craigslist ad of a roommate wanted or whatever, move in with them. And then he would just stop paying. He would like take over their place, rearrange their place, and tell them like, well, this is my house now, and literally take over. And they'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, this is my house. You need to leave. Within like weeks of a month, weeks to a month, he would do this, right? And there was nothing they could do about it. There were no laws that protected them.
Mm-hmm.
They would go to the police and be like, how do I get rid of this guy? Like, he's not paying, blah, blah, blah. Okay, file an eviction notice. Okay, well, the eviction notice would take forever to like process, the paperwork would take, it was not a quick process. And then they would say, okay, well, can I just, go and switch my locks? Mm-hmm. And they'd be like, no, if you do that, you'll get arrested in their own property. It was just some mind blowing shit that you're just like, this guy who happened to study law, apparently he had a law degree. I don't think he was a practicing attorney, but I think he had a law degree. He knew those laws like the back of his hand and manipulated these poor people and like literally ruined all of their lives. They all got kicked out. Like, it was just so sad. And that was just one person. So each episode, I think there's about 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 different stories or people, right? And that guy, he had a 2-part episode because his was so extensive. Mm-hmm. But there's all kinds of crazy shit in that series, and I thought it was really good. I would watch that again. I think you should watch that. But man, it makes you never want a roommate. Like, just, I mean, I've never had a roommate unless you count like ex-boyfriend, but like, I've never had a random roommate, you know, and it just kind of makes you think, like, who are you asking to live with you? You know, it's such an intimate thing. Like, they're in your home with all of your personal belongings, possibly your pets. Like, you don't know these people, you know, it's like, it's scary.
I mean, yeah, it can be. And
you've never had roommates either, huh?
I've had roommates before. Well, I had a roommate when I lived in an apartment with one of my ex-girlfriends, like a couple girlfriends ago. Got it. We had an apartment in
Long
Beach / Lakewood. And we needed a roommate in order to,
pay the bills,
be able to pay everything. Because we were right out of college.
Yeah.
And we invited or asked just a friend from school, because we were all in the theater department. And there was a lot of people that needed apartments, but a lot of them already lived in Long Beach, because I went to Cal State Long Beach. And we were like, well, then we could just pick anybody. But it became a thing of like, well, who do we pick? And I was like, pick the quietest, weirdest one. And we got, I can't remember her name now.
Weirdest.
I can't remember her name, but she was from Casper, Wyoming. Like the widest place I've ever heard of. I was like, Casper, Wyoming? Like, damn, like ghosts. And she was straight up like real pale, real blonde, like crazy blonde. To the point where she came in once and asked my ex-girlfriend to dye her hair. And she was like, do you think my hair, and my ex-girlfriend was like, your hair will never grow out the same, like if you dye it. And that made literally no sense to me. Like, I was like, well, how is dyeing her hair gonna like stop the way that it grows? Like, I could understand that if you dye it, you'll never get it that shade of blonde, like
until it grows.
But I was like,
until it grows, that fresh regrowth will be your natural color all over again.
Just, I don't know why I remember that. I just remember being like, that makes zero sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, but this chick came in, put up her little in her room, put up her like fairy, like what are those, like not posters, but like cloth like hanging.
Oh, yeah, like a tapestry.
Yeah, and she was like totally into fairies, and her cat was named after like a character from the Dark Crystal and all that.
Nice.
So it was like, boom!
She was a good roommate.
It was a great fucking roommate.
Yeah, kept to herself.
Yeah,
was she clean?
Very much so.
Nice,
except for the cat.
Yeah,
but I had a cat too, so
Yeah.
it was like I can't complain that it smells like a cat.
Yeah,
there's cats in here.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I've never had like a crazy situation like that. And I've known like friends that have roommates that are like just a mess.
I hate that.
But I never wanted to do it. I never wanted to have to worry about that kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
And even with whatever her name was, goddamn, it's so rude. Whatever her name was.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, because I want to say Karen.
Whatever.
I want to say her name was Karen, but
Okay,
I don't know if that's just like a zeitgeisty thing that I'm pulling out of my ass. But anyway, I've never had anything crazy like that. So, you know what I do want to talk about too before we get into what that we went to a festival this weekend. But before that, I wanted to talk about something I watched without you.
Okay.
Okay, so this was a suggestion or request or something from that we got on IG from Allison Nissen.
I saw that.
And it's called Life After Death with Tyler Henry. Fuck me. Like, first off,
Omar is not the one to watch these things.
Yo, I don't know who this guy is. Okay.
He's a medium. He's a famous medium who reads celebrity clientele mostly. He's had a show for a while on E!
So, okay. We'll see. All right. Great.
Like
whatever.
a couple years back, he had a show.
Cool.
And he's pasty. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but is there something about him being like the way he looks?
The fact that he looks like he's still in high school?
Well, yeah, but like he looks like ghostly, like it's like he's got a creepy look to him. And like he always talks about how his hands get clammy and sweaty, and like it's just like what's really happening. He's a little creepy.
Oh my god, yeah. Like Nadia said, I'm not the fucking one for this.
Omar's not the one.
But I was like, okay, let me watch it. Right, so I'll go ahead and throw on one episode, and I'm like, okay. To me, here's my thing. And I think I told this to Nicole when we were in New York, to our friend Nicole. I was like, I want it to be real. Trust me. Like, trust me. I want.
When you say what are you talking about?
Ghosts, and that you can talk to this guy, whatever.
Right.
But it's not true. It's just
you cannot
dead
say
people
it's not
don't
true.
come back. Dead people
You don't know that.
talk to us.
You don't know that. Just because, look, you're the guy. Listen,
but you're. Okay.
I'm not saying yes or no. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. Okay.
Gotcha.
I'm saying that you cannot say that because you don't know, and you're the guy that says I will only believe it when I see it. Right. Yeah. Well, just because you haven't seen it, you're just going off that, right? But how can you tell somebody else what they haven't seen? I mean,
because they didn't see it.
How
Nobody
do you know?
saw it because you didn't see it.
There are plenty of people.
I watched this whole show and I never saw shit.
Okay.
I saw this guy reading people. Okay. I saw this guy reading people, and I'm gonna be honest, he's hella good. Okay. and it's all great. Like what was the name of that other guy? John whatever that used to do it like in a big
John Edwards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
And there's stuff in here where he starts with, he's reading somebody, and he starts with like, man, this ghost is coming with a lot of angst. Like, he's a super angsty ghost. Like, this means that, there's probably, I don't know, he didn't go happily. Like, and he's like, oh, yeah. I have someone like that. Oh, okay, cool. Angsty. And then at the end, he's like, they just want you to know that they're totally at peace. I'm like, fuck you. You just said he was like super angsty. So over the course of this little like charcuterie plate that you guys had in like Santa Barbara or whatever, the ghost is like, hey, just so you know, like I had to be kind of a dick to get in here. You weren't really paying attention to me. So I decided I was going to be like, argh. And then you're like, okay, fine, your turn. And now just let her know I'm totally chill.
I hate you so much.
Come on.
Look.
But here's the thing. Here's the reason why I didn't drop it immediately. Okay? Because I was like,
what kept you watching?
I think it's because listeners know that I'll stick to it now because I've said it a bunch of times. Like, I'll watch it even if I'm hating it, right? And to be honest, like, I'm playing it up. I wasn't like screaming at the TV, but I don't buy it. So as long as that stays fucking clear. So
it's clear.
Okay.
Crystal.
Now, the show starts weaving in this story about his mom.
Oh, you were telling me.
Who is like his best friend and yada yada. But all of a sudden, like very nonchalantly, and I don't know if this is because I haven't watched his previous shows on what were they, TLC or something?
E.
Okay, E. But she's just like, oh yeah, my mother is not my birth mother, and she's a murderer. And I'm just like, what? What is this? What does this have to do with the show?
Her birth mother is a murderer? She found out?
This guy, Tyler Henry's mom, says that the woman she thought was her mother is not her biological mother.
Oh, okay.
And she didn't find out until she was 50.
Okay.
Okay. And I don't know if they ever tell you what, but she's just like, yeah, she's a con woman and a murderer, and she's going to be 96, and they want me to go to her birthday party, but I'm not going to go. And I was just like, what? Now
I want to know more about that story.
God damn you. Like, you can keep your ghosts. I want to know about this 94-year-old murderer, but by, I think, the third episode, it hadn't gotten to it. So I was like, all right, never mind.
Well,
so I totally dropped it. But Nadia will probably watch it and probably love it and cry.
I don't know if I'll watch it. I don't know if I'll watch it. Nah. I'm a bit skeptical as well. I'm not like you where I'm like, it doesn't exist, because I believe that my mom has certain capabilities. I know that you think it's bullshit and the look on your face is so annoying, but that's my belief. That's my mom's belief.
For sure.
Like, it's just something that there's too many weird coincidences, if you will. Some people don't believe in coincidences. Others, they chalk it up to being a coincidence. That happen in her life because she listens to her intuition. And to me, that's what that medium, that psychic ability, that whatever you want to call it, is. So to me, it's like how he's saying, I don't know. He's a little fishy to me. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, really?
There's something about him that's a little fishy to me. But I just think that from what other people say, when they have these abilities, what they receive, it's almost like intrusive thoughts, right? I'm sitting here with you. We're having a conversation. I'm trying to tap into this other world, this other connection, right? That these people claim to have. And they get these intrusive thoughts that pop into their head that they can't explain what they are. They're just messages, right? And they're like, okay, for some reason I'm getting the letter B repeatedly over and over and over again. Okay, now I'm getting this date, or now I'm getting this color. They don't know what it means. They're just messages, and they're regurgitating this out to the person, and the person is trying to piece together what that message means, what that could mean for them. And maybe it's not even, sometimes in readings, there's other people in the room. I hate your face right now. I hate your face right now.
I'm going to turn around. I'm not going to look at
your face right now.
I'm not even doing anything.
It's
this
just
is my face.
It's just this stupid face.
This is my face.
This is my I don't believe anything you're saying kind of face. Should we just move on?
No, I mean, whatever you want to do. You want to keep explaining this? I mean, look, if you're telling me that, okay, a person sits in front of me and then they start having these intrusive thoughts about me. Right.
Well, they don't know if it's about you.
Okay, but then they're just going to start directing that shit at me. It's like, mind your business.
No, I mean,
stop thinking about me.
Not everybody.
Stop trying to figure me out. Why don't you just
not
be happy
everybody
with yourself?
Wants to hear it. So you can't just start giving out these messages. I think that you have to respect other people's like boundaries and if they believe in it or not, and kind of ask them, hey, this is what I do. I'm kind of feeling this. Like, can I share this with you? Then if they want to, yes or no. But I don't know. I just choose to believe that it is a possibility. I think that there are still a lot of people out there who are full of shit and claim that they have it and make money off of it. And they're just really good at reading people. I think that there's a handful of those people for sure. So, but I still believe that there are also people who have these capabilities. And that's just my opinion. Now, who is being honest about it and who's not? That's the tricky part, Yeah. But I know for a fact my mom has had some really crazy situations of like, she'll be driving somewhere and she'll just be like, you need to exit here and you need to go to this place and you need to do this, this, and this. And she's gone to a place now where she'll listen to that voice and she'll follow it and see where it kind of takes her just out of curiosity. And like 99% of the time it leads her to a person who for some reason needs to talk to her about they've lost somebody. And my mom has this picture of an angel in the sky. Like they're clouds, but it really, really, really does look like an angel. Like it's this beautiful photo that somebody gave to her at a really remarkable time in her life. And so, and I had a sister who passed away, and there's just a lot of very unexplainable and interesting situations that happened with our family and her passing. And so, and my mom had a really deep connection with her. And so there's just kind of like this connection that goes around my mom. And yeah, I believe it. I know that she's not blowing smoke up my ass. I believe that she is getting these things, these messages. She follows them. And because she surprised herself when they happen. She's like, you won't believe this. Like, she's like, every time I listen to my gut and every time I listen to these thoughts that come into my head, it leads me to this. And then I share it with this person. And then they start crying because they're like, oh my God, I needed to talk about this today. Or it was my husband's anniversary of his death, or like crazy shit like that. That's like, how do you explain that?
I mean, it's like you're saying, it's intuition. I'm all about that. That's great. Like you can get a gut feeling in this and that. Now, if your mother goes up to someone and goes, a ghost just told me, that's where it fucking changes.
Yeah.
That's what
she
I'm
doesn't
saying.
say that. Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying, if people are hanging out with me and they're just like, yo, I got this bad feeling, like we shouldn't go down this way.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. But if he's like, whoa, wait, yo, your cousin that died a few years ago is saying, hey, make a left.
And
like,
also,
it's just, that's my thing.
I also feel like
you should just call. They should just be like, hey, we're like, I don't know, what? God damn it, morning therapists, where they just like let you talk about someone that's passed away, because that's basically what they're doing. Is they're giving you like a quick like release session. They're just like,
Well, I also kind of
cadaver catharsis with Omar.
Oh my God, you're not the one. Get out of here. Nobody wants to talk to you about this. Nobody. I also kind of feel like it's a bit suspicious that like every time he meets with somebody, he gets all these messages. I feel like it would be more realistic if like he met with somebody and he was like, I'm getting nothing. Like, show us that. Show us that footage when he sits down with somebody and he's like, look, I'm so sorry. Like, nothing is coming for you. I'm getting all these other messages, but nothing for you.
I've ruined an entire spiral notebook with my scribbles. And because that's what he does. If you guys don't know this, like he sits there, he's like, okay, let me figure it out. And then he scribbles the fuck out of like a notebook.
He's I don't know what that's about.
He's like, I've ruined this notebook and nobody wants to talk to you. So
I know it says a lot on the scribble, but I've got nothing.
This is telling me that they died to get away from you. So they're not talking
that
to
is
you
so
anymore.
Dark. God, you're going too far.
All right, fine. Let's talk about
something else. There are sweet, innocent people listening to this podcast.
If you have a show or a movie that you want to hear what I think about,
That was the most real you've been about any of your reviews. Like normally you kind of hold back your dark-sidedness, but
Man.
you really went for it this time. Omar is very skeptical, and
I mean, you want to do a movie review instead?
on what?
Nah, let's talk about Smoking Grooves.
Yeah, let's talk about smoking.
Okay. So this past weekend would have been March 19th, a Saturday. We went to Smoking Grooves, which was, I think, the first large festival in Los Angeles since all of this pandemic craziness. Let's go ahead and just talk about some of the people that were there. You had Erykah Badu, you had Nas, The Roots, Miguel was there, Janae Aiko was there. I'm just gonna go ahead and read the top line. The Internet, Flying Lotus. Although I don't know if Flying Lotus was on the other side. I didn't see it, but Sir was there. Kamasi Washington was supposed to be there. Thundercat, Smino was there. It was
and I saw none of it.
Dead Prez was there. Music Soul Child was there.
I saw none of it.
I know.
I had to work.
Nadia had to work.
I know. I'm telling you, I'm on my grind, making that money. I mean, I had my artist pass.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's so funny. So I had to work. It was an all day. I don't know what time it started, but it was pretty much an all day festival, 1 day festival. And Miguel went on at 8 p.m. So he was part of the headlining crew, and he went more towards the end. So by the time I got there, I got there when Thundercat was performing, and you guys were watching him, but I missed him. And then I missed Janae because I was starving and I hadn't eaten all day. So we went and got our food, and I unfortunately missed Janae. I wanted to see Janae, missed Janae. Then Miguel went on. We watched Miguel. We saw Nas, and then it was getting so cold. It was like drizzling. So we were all in the trailers, and we couldn't really hear the music that was going on in the trailers. And so then all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, like Erykah Badu, because she was the last one. And I walk out, and it's already like she's already probably halfway through her set. And I was like, shit, like I really wanted to see her. But then what we realized was by the time we tried to get out of there, it was going to be so hectic, like getting out of that place, that we were like, screw it. So we decided to just beat the traffic and leave. So I didn't get to see, I only basically saw Miguel and Nas, which was a bummer. But what was funny was that because I had to work, I drove to the venue. My plan was to drive to Nas's house, leave my car, then Uber. But there was so much traffic that it was going to take me forever. And I was like, screw it. I'm going to drive straight there. I don't know what the parking situation is, because there was no parking. It was like fine street parking, and it was near downtown. So it was going to be a shit show. So I thought, you know what? Let me just try anyways. I'd rather take my chances trying to find parking somewhat relatively close, and then I could Uber from my car to the spot, right?
Right.
But then a little bird in my head said, you know what? Just try to see if you can get in that artist parking lot.
Nice. Nice.
Let's just see what happens, right? Knowing damn well my name was not on any lists. I had no clearance to be in those parking lots. But I had an artist pass on my wrist.
Gotcha.
So I go to where the Uber drops off for the artist entrance, and I tell the guy, where do I go for artist parking, right? I flash in my pass. He directs me. He tells me where to go. And I'm like, okay, first step done. We go. Right. I know where the lot is. So I go to the lot, and I tell the guy, and he's like, oh, you just go up to the next, there's another gate, right? It's like separated, private. He goes, they just have to sweep your car. Like the dog checks your car.
Like a bomb sweep.
Yeah, the bomb sweep or whatever. Dog checks your car, and then you're good to go. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, crossing off. I'm going through all the hurdles to get there. I'm the last gate. I'm almost there. And he's looking at the list. What'd you say your name was again? I'm like, oh, Nadia. And Sophie, his manager. Da, 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 da. I'm like dropping all these names. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. And he's like clearly like looking for my name. My name is not on the list, but he lets me in. And I'm like, yes. Finally, like a lie worked for me because I'm a really bad liar. Like, and I never get anywhere. I never get into anything because Omar's just like, you just got to believe it. Believe that you're supposed to be there. And I'm like, I'm not supposed to be here.
You finally did some swindling.
I finally swindled my way to the artist parking lot. And
Nadia Mohan.
Yeah.
Festival Fibber.
So I made my way into the artist parking lot. Easy. It was so easy. And, yeah.
I mean, the wristband totally helped.
Of course. They saw my wristband.
Well, it was so funny because, like you said, because we went separate, and the plan was to go back and hang out with Miguel afterwards at his house.
Yeah.
So, my brother and his brother, we all carpooled up to his house.
Yeah.
So we got there, and he ends up he's like, oh, I'm not going to basically head out till about 4.
Mm-hmm.
So we make it, we jump all in like a van together, and we drive down there. We get there, they do the bomb thing.
Uh-huh.
Then they let us park.
Uh-huh.
Then they make us all get out.
Into a shuttle.
No. They make us get out from from the Sprinter van.
Uh-huh.
And then go through the metal detectors.
Oh, uh-huh.
So we get out of the van, we go in the metal detectors.
Uh-huh.
Then they let us go back in the van, and then they drove us to
That's interesting.
the actual trailers.
The drop-off,
where all
yeah.
the Star Wagons are or whatever.
Oh.
So that's why they weren't doing shuttles yet. Or because we had the Sprinter and Miguel was in it, they were like, just drive it up there.
Yeah.
So
But that's funny. You got to get out and do the metal detector and then go back in.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was funny. It reminded me of when I went to Brazil.
Uh-huh.
So, all right, fine. Look, I go to Brazil, and then at one point when we were in Brazil, we had to go to a set of water. Well, it was a pleasure to go to this like set of waterfalls.
Uh-huh.
It was this place called Iguazu.
Uh-huh.
And Iguazu is one of those places where you're walking into different countries while you're at this thing. So it's like Brazil, Argentina, and I want to say Uruguay.
Okay.
But when you cross, they pulled us all out of the van, or out of in this case, it was like a tour bus or something. They pulled us all out, and they made us wipe our feet on a rug and then cross over, and then we could get back on.
Interesting.
And it was literally like, it wasn't like a borders, like driving from even Vegas to California where you pass that like state line kind of like, no, it was just a guy at a chair and it was like, get out, wipe your feet. Like, don't bring any of that dirt over there, over here. I don't know. It was like this dirt road, but that's what it reminded me of. I was like, you already let us in.
Yeah.
He's like, no, metal detectors. So we do all that. And like you said, when we got there, Thundercat was about to start.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to go and check it out.
Uh-huh.
And he's always so good.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know who Thundercat is, look him up. Yeah, he's even doing a little bit of acting now. I saw him in the Boba Fett show.
Aww.
Yeah, I know you don't watch any of that Star Wars stuff, but
that's tight.
Yeah, he's in the Boba Fett show, and I think he helps him. He plays like a little electronics guy, like totally up his alley. Like his whole look is
a nerd.
Is nerd. Like he's the best.
Anime. Yeah, he's a friend of ours. So
yeah, he's like it was so good. And then, like you said, you got there. We go eat. We're like, oh, we missed this person, missed that person. See Miguel. But here's the thing: the whole time they were running late.
Right.
So I overheard somebody say that there was supposed to be 3 stages, and then they cut it to 2. I don't know. I wasn't privy to any of that information, but I know that they were running late because I want to say like the routes started like half an hour late.
Oh, I did see the routes.
Yeah,
I did see some of the routes.
Yeah, remember we saw some of that.
Yeah,
and then because then Miguel came on after.
Yes.
So it was just like everything was getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and this affected Erykah Badu's set,
right?
Because she's the headliner. If everything's going, it like is pushed back, then they keep getting pushed back.
Yeah.
And if it's a strict curfew,
Yeah.
which at this LA historic park, whatever it was, because it is dead smack in the middle of like a neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I think it was just a very hard out.
At like 10 or something like
11.
that. 11. Okay.
So when we were in the trailers getting warm, because it just like seriously got cold.
Yeah.
When we came out, when you were like, shit, we forgot about Erica. So we go outside, and one of the tour directors or whatever were like, well, if you want to go see her, she's got like maybe a song left or something, because they're going to cut her short.
Yeah, that's why we didn't go see
And we were
her.
like, oh, really? And they're like, yeah. And that's when it was like, well, shit. If we go from the trailers all the way to the stage for one song, and then all the way back to try to get on these shuttles with everybody else, you know?
Yeah, it was going to be
So that's
crazy.
kind of how it went down.
She didn't get to call Tyrone.
I know. And one of our friends did stay. Nigel and Sandy, actually, they stayed.
They
And
said
here's
it was
the thing.
really good.
They were like, yeah, it was, because they made it. They weren't in the trailers with us.
Yeah.
They were like, fuck this, we're going to go. They
I
were
didn't
the
even
smart
notice
ones,
they
You know what I'm
bounced.
saying? But he basically, Nigel told me, he's like, yeah, she was like, it looked like they were telling her stuff in her ear or whatever. And she basically just said, I ain't going to waste y'all time. And she walked off.
That was how it ended?
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious.
So I think people were like freaking out on her, like, yo,
Well,
you
yeah.
just dipped, like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
it was her thing. And I think she was catching shit, you know, from people who aren't in the know or whatever.
Yeah.
And she did put out like a little response on Twitter, on Instagram, which basically says like this. It goes, this is your 2022 headliner life. And she says, Questlove always told me the headliner spot at a huge one-day concert festival is the worst slot. It goes, because when curfew comes and you aren't even halfway through the set, they will cut the mic.
Yeah.
When things run behind, the headliner has to take the weight.
Yeah.
And she's like, I gave you my all. Love you guys, and I'm grateful.
Yeah.
But
That's just how it goes.
That's literally what happened. Because even Miguel was telling me that he was mid-song, and they were like shouting notes into his earpiece and stuff. He's like, and then I think at one point he said he was trying to talk. You know, he wants to talk to the audience. Like, how y'all doing? Like,
Yeah. They were like, wrap it up.
And they were like, wrap it up.
Yeah. Yep.
And he was like, it was so crazy. Like, they were like, no, don't. You know, you only get so much time to talk to them. Otherwise, you're going to have to cut a song or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like,
Yeah, like they were like 5 more seconds or you cut a song. That's so crazy that they have, like, you see them with their earpieces, but you don't realize that you think it's for their own vocals, you know, so they can hear the playback so that they can, you know, catch their tone or whatever in their pitch. But you don't realize that they're also, you're getting the backstage, because we were back there. We were by the sound booth and we could hear them screaming. Like, remember they were like shouting out orders and stuff like that. It was like, well, what the hell are these?
yeah, when we were by the sound booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's them like relaying to the artist. And meanwhile, the artist is trying to perform their song and remember their lyrics and be engaging and dance and perform. They're being shouted at in their ear.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But
That's
that was
festival life.
That was basically what could have been what we could have had a whole lot of content and stuff
Yeah.
for. We just
I know.
we ended up
I'm so
missing
bummed.
so many stuff. And then it was a real good time though. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie to you. Like the little bit
Always.
that we did walk around and
Because that VIP area was lit.
Yeah.
Everybody was back there.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a real good time. Like you're just hanging out back there. And then we almost saw Macy Gray, but she was on too early.
Oh.
Remember Macy Gray? Like,
Yeah.
man, there was a lot of good people.
To say goodbye and not joke.
Exactly. Wanted to see that one.
I know.
But man, if anybody out there went to, you know, that
Smoking Grooves.
festival, let us know. Let us know what we missed. Some highlights.
It's always a good time. That's usually a really good show to go to. We went pre-pandemic when Miguel and Nick were both performing Nonchalant, which is, of course, Miguel's brother and Omar's cousin. They both performed at that show. I think it was like, 2019? I want to say. And that one was in Long Beach. And that was also a great time. We had a really good time.
Yeah.
They just have really good food vendors and, you know, lot of pot, good music. What could you ask more? What more could you ask for?
Absolutely.
Oh, and then shout outs to Sela Bakery, Selah. She was walking by towards the end of the night, kind of with a stack of cookies, like single packaged cookies, asking people if they wanted a cookie. And so, our fat asses were like, absolutely. And we took, whatever cookies she was handing out. And turns out that her cookies are all vegan, all organic, and absolutely delicious. Like some of the best cookies that I've ever had. And Drew had like a whole stack. He had like 6 cookies in his pocket. He's like, what flavor you want? But she has really unique flavors. She had like banana pudding. She had key lime, which was super delicious. She had some strawberry flavor. But go ahead and look her up. She's based out in LA. If you guys are, even if you're not vegan, it's just, a healthier option and really, really delicious. Selah Bakery, Selah. And,
Bakery.
bakery.
Yeah, that's how you can find her.
Gotta support those small businesses. We're all on our grind and, just like to see, props to her for just being like walking around and passing them out, because look, here we are talking about them, promoting them. They were so delicious. And had she not done that, it's like her packaging was really good. She had a little barcode on there. Like it was, smart.
Yeah.
Smart move.
That's classic marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, on IG, like she said, Selah Bakery, you can actually find her at the Crenshaw Farmers Market on Saturdays.
Oh, there you go.
And the Hollywood Farmers Market on Sundays.
There you go.
So if you find
really
her,
good cookies.
Man, she made a banana pudding cookie. It was really good, but her key lime cookie was amazing.
Yeah.
So definitely
you wouldn't think that, but it was really good. But I think that's about it.
That's all the time we have this week.
Hopefully we'll have more exciting things to talk about.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get some messages from Ghost, someone to talk about next. I'm feeling.
I have some events to attend, so maybe I could share those. Anything exciting happen at those events, because things are picking back up again.
Well, now you guys have something to look forward to. They're like, finally. As always, thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. Whenever you guys hit us up, send us recommendations, stuff like that. I gotta give a shout out before we go, because I get so much stuff from Steph. Longtime listener of the show, friend of the show. Yeah, Steph is constantly sending me these like amazing looking food posts of like street vendors and stuff like that, and I'm always like, man, I gotta check it out. So thank you,
in
Steph.
LA.
All over. Like she sent me one that looked like there were some tortas, and I was like, oh my god! But they were like in Anaheim. And I was like, I don't have time to go right now, because anytime I see it, I'm always like, I would want this right now. Yeah.
And we're also going to Cabo in like a week and a half, so
Nadia won't let
I'm not trying to eat tortas. No tortas till after Cabo.
And that's gonna be the title of the episode. So they're gonna be sitting there waiting for, when are they talking about these tortas? Not until like an hour and 10 minutes in. It's called burying the lead right there.
I was doing so good with no carbs too, kind of falling off. But anyways, let's get out of here.
Bye, y'all. We everywhere, baby.